a famous preacher stood in front of millions of people on television and told them something that was not true. He had a beautiful church, a distinguished voice, every credential you could imagine, and he used all of it to tell people that one of the most important verses in the entire Bible was actually spoken by Satan. He was wrong, and by the end of this video, I am going to show you exactly where it is written, who really said it, and why that single correction could change the entire direction of your life. Stay with me, because this goes much deeper than one preacher's mistake. This goes into the most powerful machine in the entire universe, the one sitting right behind your own eyes. Let me tell you what happened. A well-known television preacher was speaking about psychology and the New Age movement, and he said this. He said, "When people tell you that you are God's," that idea does not come from God. It comes from Satan. He said Satan was the one who told Adam and Eve, "If you eat from this tree, you will be like God." And so he concluded that anyone who tells you that you are divine is repeating the words of the devil. It sounded convincing. He was eloquent. The setting was magnificent. And almost nobody watching was ever going to open a Bible to check if he was telling the truth. So they walked away with their minds programmed, believing that the idea of their own divinity was satanic. But here is what he never showed them. Open your Bible to John chapter 10, verse 34. These are the words of Jesus Christ himself. "Is it not written in your law, I said you are gods?" It was not Satan who said you are gods. It was Jesus. And it gets even more direct than that. Go to Psalm 82, verse 6. This is God speaking. "I have said you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." Not Satan. God, speaking directly, calling you a god. So why would a respected, educated, eloquent preacher stand in front of millions of people and tell them the opposite of what is written? Because if you believe you are a sinner, if you believe you are broken, if you believe you need someone else to reach God for you, then you will always need the system. But if you understand that the kingdom is already within you, what do you need the system for? And that is exactly what is at stake here. Not just a verse, not just a misquote, but control over how you see yourself for your entire life. Now, I want to show you why this matters so much, because this is not just about theology. This is about the most powerful instrument in the entire universe. And it is sitting right between your ears. There are two parts of your mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is only about 10% of who you are. The other 90% is the subconscious. And here is the part that should stop you cold. The subconscious never sleeps. It never forgets. Every single thing that has ever been said to you, every fear that was planted in you as a child, every time someone told you that you were not good enough, that you would never amount to anything, that you could not be trusted, that nobody loves you, all of it went in, and none of it ever left. It is still there. Right now, running in the background of your entire life. like a program nobody ever showed you how to delete. And here is the part most people never realize. The subconscious is the servant. The conscious mind is the master. But the servant is far more powerful than the master. It will obey whatever the master tells it. If you tell it, you are sick. It will find a way to make you sick. If you tell it, you are a failure. It will organize your entire life around proving that you are right, not because it is cruel, because it believes you. It cannot tell the difference between what is true and what it has simply been told enough times to accept as fact. Now think back. Where did your beliefs about yourself come from? Did you choose them, or were they given to you? By a parent who said, "Because I said so." By a teacher who said, "You will never amount to anything." By a church that said, "You are a sinner." By a culture that said, "You are not enough." None of that was your choice. It was planted, seed by seed, year after year, until it grew roots so deep that you forgot it was ever planted at all. And now you live your entire life believing those roots are simply who you are. This is why Jesus had such contempt for tradition. Go to Matthew chapter 15, verse 6. He said, "You have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition." Tradition is simply this: doing something, believing something, repeating something, simply because that is the way it has always been done. Nobody asks why anymore. It is just because. And every single belief that was ever planted in you that way, without question, without explanation, is still down there, still running, still controlling outcomes you think you are choosing freely. Now here is where it gets even more serious. There is a key to unlock this. Go to Luke chapter 11, verse 52. Jesus says, "Woe unto you, lawyers." He is speaking to the religious scholars of his time. "You have taken away the key of knowledge." Why? Because you entered not in yourselves, and those who were entering in. You hindered. Read that again. The key was never lost. It was taken deliberately by the very institutions that were supposed to lead people toward truth. Because a person who enters within themselves, who finds the God that lives inside their own mind, does not need a building, does not need a system, does not need anyone standing between them and the source. And that terrifies the system. So the key was hidden, but it was never destroyed. It is still here, inside you, right now. And the moment you understand how to use it, everything begins to change. Now, I need to address the part of this that will feel the most uncomfortable, because there is a passage that most religious people have never once heard preached from a pulpit. Go to Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. God says, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things." Sit with that for a moment. God creates evil. Not because God is evil, but because there is only one power in the entire universe. It is the same power. Whether it builds a hospital or burns a building down, it is the same power. whether it heals a person or destroys them. The power itself is neutral. It is how you direct it. That determines the outcome. This is the exact same power running through your subconscious mind right now. It does not care if you tell it something true or something false. It only knows how to obey. So if you tell it, "I am sick," it will find a way to make that true. But if you tell it, "I am God," it has no choice but to start building a life that reflects that statement back to you. This is not arrogance. This is not blasphemy. This is the exact mechanism that Jesus pointed to when he said, "The things that I do, you can do, and greater things than these shall you do." He did not come to show you how great he was. He came to show you how great you already are. Now think about your own life for a moment. Why do certain things keep happening to you over and over again? No matter how hard you try to change them? Why does the same kind of relationship keep finding you? Why does the same kind of failure keep finding you? Why does the same kind of sickness keep finding you? It is not bad luck. It is not curse. It is programming. Deep in the subconscious, running quietly, in the background, exactly as it was taught to run decades ago. And here is the most important truth in this entire video. You cannot argue your way out of subconscious programming. You cannot will your way out of it. You cannot simply decide one day to think positive and expect decades of programming to disappear. It has to be reprogrammed. Go to Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing. Not arguing with, not fighting against. Renewing. Going within, in stillness, in silence, in meditation. This is where the actual reprogramming happens. Not in a church pew, not in a Sunday sermon, not by simply trying harder, in the quiet place, where you stop listening to everything that was poured into you from the outside and start listening to the God that has been waiting inside you this entire time. Because here is the truth that the preacher on television will never tell you. The same Jesus who said, "You are God's," also said, "Seek first the kingdom." And the kingdom is not somewhere out there. It is within you. Once you understand that, you and that source are one and the same. Ask yourself this question. What could possibly defeat you? Nothing. Not the programming from your childhood, not the failures from your past, not the fear that has been running quietly in the background of your mind for years. Because once you go within and you begin to remove what was placed there without your permission, you can begin to plant something new. This is why it says, you have been made caretaker of the vineyard. You have the ability to walk into that subconscious garden and start pulling out everything that was planted there by people who never should have had that kind of access to your mind in the first place. And in its place, you can plant something new, something true. Not I am a sinner, I am God. Not I am a failure, I am God. Not nobody loves me, and nothing ever works out for me. I am God. Say it until the subconscious has no choice. but to believe it. Because remember, it does not know the difference between what is true and what it has simply heard enough times to accept. So if it was programmed with lies for 30 years, it can be reprogrammed with truth. Starting today, the door to your success was never broken. It was simply locked by people who never showed you that you were holding the key the entire time. If this opened something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because next week we go even deeper. I will see you in the next one.